See. All right, cool. All right, Steve, how's it going, man? Welcome to the Breakthrough Society.
Thank you so much, Irvin, for having me. Looking forward to our conversation.
Of course, man. Likewise, I'm excited. You took the time out of your day to, make this happen.
Yep, and you as well. Thank you.
For sure, man. All right, man. So, first question I always ask my guests, man, is just tell the listeners who Steve is, man, and what do you do?
My name is Steve Gamlin. I'm known as professionally the Motivational Firewood Guy, and I am a speaker, I'm an author, and most of what I do is work with people using visualization and vision boards, helping them to understand what their goals look like, feel like, sound like, even smell like. And I do that with individuals, entrepreneurs, and company teams as well.
Cool, man. So, growing up, were you always like that visual kind of guy?
In a way, I was, because now people, you get those questions on social media. It's like, well, if you were doing what you wanted to do when you were a kid, what would it be? And when I started to see that enough times, I realized, it kind of has been a visual journey since I was a kid. When I was about 10 years old, there was a TV show. Now I got a few years on you, called WKRP in Cincinnati, and it was about a radio station. And there was this rock DJ with scraggly hair, jeans, t-shirts. He wore sunglasses indoors, and he played records for a living. And at about 10 years old, I said, I want to do that someday. And I started to practice with my dad's old tape recorder and my record player and all those ancient things nobody uses anymore. And I started actually being it. In I've owned a DJ company now for 27 and a half years. I was
Mhm.
on the radio for 10 years. And everything that came from that, I'm sitting in my own recording studio now because of that. So everything I wanted to do, yeah, I'm doing it now. And it has its roots in that vision when I was 10 years old.
Yeah, dude, like that's very powerful. Like I actually just got into, like I see you have the thing in the back where it says Vision Board Mastery.
Oh,
Like
yeah. I was shooting a video yesterday. The chalkboard still has the sign.
yeah, yeah. Like I actually, I mean, I know like everybody always talks about like having a vision board and looking at it every day and stuff like that. Like I never actually got into that until uh, a week and a half ago. My desktop, um, what's called the screensaver, is like little pictures of everything in some sort of way of what I want, right? Like what I want and my goals, my long term goals. So I know that's powerful. Like just looking at it, every single day I log in, I open up my laptop because I'm doing something work related, and I see that, and or it gets me like into like this focused mindset, you know. So,
Yeah.
but I never like realized that in my early days. I mean, I'm still 20, I'm 26, but like when I was a little kid, like I mean, I just never thought about shit like that. But
Mhm.
like growing up, you listen to like all these entrepreneurs and stuff, and they always talking about like the vision board and how it's so powerful and stuff like that. So yeah, that's crazy that like you realize something like that, further down the line.
Yeah, well, when you see what the mechanics are behind it, I mean, some people, they see my stuff and they go, "Oh yeah, I went to a vision board party once," and I say, "Oh my gosh, let me guess." The social media message said, "Hey, we're having a vision board party with wine, cheese, crackers, and scissors and glue sticks," and I'm thinking, first off, you're not doing the work. I mean, it's something, I guess, but you're not doing the work, and you're not digging in, and you're not deciding what you really want, and you're drinking. So, if you have enough wine, maybe you can use the glue stick to put your eyebrows back on after you accidentally cut it off with the scissors. But yeah, when you know that seed of what you want, and then you either create or find a picture that represents the big picture, and you look at those every day and you plot out, what one step could I take today toward just one of these? And it's not just this wish and it comes true thing. You start laying the bricks in the foundation, and you're going to look, say, a year from now at those pictures again and go, huh, gosh, I remember when I talked to Steve a year ago when I was saying I just started this 2 weeks ago. Now it's a year and 2 weeks. And you're going to see your progress if you stay connected and understand why you want them.
Yeah, yeah, I get that. Like, not, I mean, it's just like that step by step, one step at a time
Yep.
every day. It's not just looking at it like, oh, that's a cool picture, just
Yeah.
forgetting about it. I think that's what a lot of people do.
Yeah, I think so. I actually created a line of t-shirts, and on the back of it, it says, it's a big stop sign, and it says, "Friends don't let friends attend vision board parties."
Yeah.
If you're really serious about your goals, don't go to a vision board party. Talk to somebody who understands the mechanics of it.
Yeah. And I've always, or like now, like I see myself like with my company and what I do, right? With the like we do remodeling for electrical
Yeah.
in residential. So like now I see myself more as like the visual person where it's like the customer tells me I want lights, here and I want a fan here and an outlet here. Like I kind of like visualize the end result.
Yeah.
So when I'm doing these quotes, like I'm visualizing like, okay, how long is it going to take me to run the wire from here to here, add a switch here and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
now I'm like visualizing more of the whole project, so that way I can quote this like more effective, right? So
Yeah.
that's what I'm doing now, and like I'm just incorporating like that vision to
Yeah.
what I do all the time now.
Yeah. And the cool part of that too is because I was a contractor with my dad many, many years ago. We did a lot of remodeling and decks and things like that. And a lot of times the clients would say, "Well, I want something different, but I don't know what I want." So my
Mhm.
dad would actually almost be teaching visualization to them. They'd say they'd have a little, a schematic drawn, but they couldn't really see it themselves. So my dad would say, "Okay, when you come into your kitchen, say if we're doing a kitchen remodel, where do you want this? How do you want the flow? Do you want an island in the center?" And then my dad would be able to talk about what it would feel like for them and look like to walk into that dream kitchen. So he would explain in pictures and storytelling. And that's probably a lot of where I got it, is because that's my style with my speaking. But so you have that opportunity when people say, "Irvin, I just want something different. What's it going to look like?" And you can explain it to them and get them to fall in love with their project and then
Yeah.
just hire you because of how you made them feel explaining it.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna get to. Is like whenever you visualize on it, whenever you're teaching, like how you're saying, teaching them like to visualize their dream kitchen.
Yeah.
They're already feeling like they're feeling like how they would in the future, like walking through this little aisle or turning around the like this countertop or whatever, and
Yeah.
like with that emotion, that's what gets them to buy and all that.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
crazy, man.
Yeah. And it's good stuff. When you get on that level with your customers, man, the sky's the limit as far as the potential of what you could do together. Even down the line. I mean, anytime they say, "Oh, this isn't really convenient," or "Oh, this light doesn't work," or "I wish we had it better," they're gonna go, "We got to call Irvin. We got to get Irvin back here to weave his magic and to make our vision happen." And that's a
Yeah.
that's a powerful relationship you can create with people.
Yeah, dude, that's solid gold, man, for sure.
Yeah.
Whenever you break it down the way that you're doing it, like
Yeah.
even whatever industry, whatever the listeners. Oh, I sell T-shirts where you have to like show them like what you're creating and make them like feel a certain type of way, wearing your clothes or
Yeah.
like buying the car that you're selling or whatever it is. But
Yep.
whenever you break it down, how you're saying, like this is like powerful, how your sales can just go from here to here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they really can because you're building relationships. I mean,
Yeah.
I own the DJ business. Well, essentially the DJ business is, do an event and you're done. I mean, occasionally you get referrals down the line, but you're pretty much done. I mean, not everybody gets married more than once. Most people hope
Yeah.
for once. So it's
Yeah.
kind of it's not really, it's more hunting than farming. And farming is what we're talking about now. You're planting seeds with people, you're building a
Yeah.
relationship. You're earning their trust and confidence because if you know, like, and trust somebody, you're going to be more likely to work with them, and you're doing that. I mean, at your age you're doing that, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So explain a little bit about that vision board mastery. Isn't that's like a program that you have?
It is. Yeah, I got into visualization. I first heard about it with The Secret, which came out in the early 2000s, right at about the
Heard about that.
lowest point of my life. And one of my coaches said, "I think you should watch this." And I did. Some of the stuff I really liked and appreciated, but some of it was, I mean, they even had in the movie a genie in a magic lamp.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, let's find another way. Well, there was a 3-minute conversation with a guy named John Assaraf. He talked about a vision board. And I was so fascinated by it that I started to do a lot of research and trial and error, making my own vision boards. And I made 2 at once the first time, and they were absolutely horrible because it was all material stuff. I made every mistake you could make. But then I started to dig a little deeper and connect myself emotionally to the goals I wanted, to understand why I wanted them, to start to map out the action plan I would have to take to get there, to build up my own self-confidence, and understand there's 9 major areas of our lives. There's, your career, your finances, your physical health, your emotions, your emotional well-being, your spirituality, your ethics, morals, and integrity, your connection to the real world, your relationships, and material stuff. And when I started to see this whole big picture, I just said, okay, I'm only going to pick one goal for each of these and not overwhelm myself. And it was one of the most successful years of my life. And as I started to achieve success and put my life back together and became a speaker, I also did stand-up comedy for 7 years. Somebody asked me one time, Steve, how are you doing all this? I said, well, I make a vision board. Oh, would you come teach it to this group of friends? So I started to do these little open to the public things. And then I went back through all my notes and I wrote them all down, all the steps. And somebody said, Steve, I can't hire you to come in. I'm a solopreneur. Why don't you create a program for individuals?
Mm.
So I did. I just went through all my notes and I identified 10 major steps. And that became the Vision Board Mastery audio learning program. And now I'm using it not just for individuals, but entrepreneurs and their teams. And we're even working on licensing it into big companies. So it's 10 very basic steps. And I'm dating myself here. When it first came out, it was on a CD, 1 CD, the entire program. So it's not one of those 20 disc mega volume things that nobody will finish. It's like, I don't write 400-page books because I don't read 400-page books.
Yeah.
But it's all the basic steps. And people say, well, what makes it different than going to a vision board party? You don't gather pictures in my program till step 7 out of 10. All the rest is pre-work on yourself, who you are, where you are now, where you want to go. Some really cool brainstorming that's like writing a letter to Santa Claus at one point. And then you narrow down and figure out what you really want. And then the action plan and the after work as well. And I have ongoing coaching with people. I have people who've been my coaching clients for years. And we do a vision board together each year, and then I coach them the whole rest of the year to get through it.
So the fancy stuff of getting the pictures and all that shit is not till later, and people think it's like the very first thing.
Yeah.
It's like the main thing.
Yeah. I used to do live events where people would show up with their pictures and I'd say, okay, don't start gluing yet. Let me do a little pre-work. And about halfway through, I'd hear paper crumbling and I'd hear, crap. Like, I don't even want this. Why did I bring this? Yeah. So that's what I try to stress to people is do the work in here and in your heart first, and then see where you want to go. Because it's not just what you get, it's who you become along the way that so many people forget. They just see the fancy stuff. And I blame my industry, the motivational speakers who do videos in front of a Ferrari, a mansion, and a yacht, many of which are rented for their videos. They keep saying this is what success is, and it's up to each of us what it is.
Yeah, and that's like with everything in life, it's just like first discovering who you are before, like, like I guess like knowing what you want, you have to like know yourself, right?
Yeah.
And then you have to say, okay, well, now I know who I am, so now I'm gonna, try to do this or try to build this or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Man, that's good. So is the firewood the motivational, is that different from, like, totally different from that vision board program that you have?
No, it all kind of falls underneath. Motivational Firewood is my kind of over umbrella brand for the speaking. Essentially, all it means is I can't change your life. If you've got a spark of something in your heart, like say, I don't know how many years ago you established your business, but say when you were 22 years old, you wanted to have your business. If I share some information that inspires you, that motivates you, that educates you, that puts you in the right place to make it happen. See, you had that spark, but I gave you some information that you were able to add to it, and then it gave you direction. And it was a conversation really early in my speaking where a guy said, so Steve, what sets you apart? I'm like, I want to help people. He goes, Steve, we all want to help people. What makes you different? In like a 5-minute conversation, I finally threw my hands up. I said, look, if you hire me to speak, it means you got a spark of something. If something I share gets you to do it, I said, it's like I gave you motivational firewood or something. I said,
Mm.
add them together and you make fire. He goes, that's really good. Write it down. And do you know anything about trademarks? I said, nope. He goes, look into that. He goes, it's different, it's unique, it's interesting. You made it fun. And so that's why. So Motivational Firewood is kind of my overall brand, and the vision board work is one of the pillars
Mm.
underneath that.
Dude, that's a good name.
Thank you.
Like, yeah, with that analogy, like it sticks right in, dude.
Yeah, and I just
But
renewed the trademark last week. Phew, I almost lost it.
yeah.
They went to send me the reminder, and they had an old email, and I'm sitting here going, oh, I'm all set. And they go, dude, you almost lost your trademark. You came that close. So I own it now for another, I don't know, 5 or 10 years.
But like so like if you would have lost it, what happens? Like does it just like become available or you can't get it anymore or what?
Someone else, I guess, could have grabbed it, and it may have cost me more to get it back. But I'm glad the guy picked up the phone and called me.
Mm.
It was my favorite phone call that day.
Yeah.
He said, yeah, we kept sending you the information. I said, what email? And he said it, and I went, oh yeah, that one's long gone.
Yeah.
So yep. So now we're set, we're safe, and the description is actually even better and more broad now than it originally was. So I'm very well protected now.
Okay. Yeah, he's ready to get the ball rolling now.
Yep.
I go again.
Yep. Yep. Oh yeah, just keep on rocking and rolling every single day. Put some motivational firewood out there in the world.
Yeah. Hell yeah, dude. So I had a question, man, about like I saw what you posted on your Instagram the last time about the coffee.
That's so many people have reacted and responded to that, and I'm just blown away. Yeah. So fire away.
Yeah, man. So like it's crazy how you're saying that there's like two things that you have 100%. Uh like it's your responsibility or it's your fault, right?
Yep.
Um was like the was it like how you what happens or how you react to it?
Yeah, how we react and how we respond to everything that
Okay, yeah.
happens to us. And so many people forget it's up to us.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't have something happen to me and say, well, it's all your fault that I'm in a bad mood now. No, I chose to be in a bad mood over it. It's too many people forget that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so like what I was gonna ask, man, like I know you're real like into how you were saying that you used to be a comedian,
Yeah.
um, but I'm sure you incorporate that humor into like your podcasting and your programs and all that stuff. So like when something happens to you, like do you react to that in like a humorous way, or you just like kind of like just like a normal like just get your head out of your ass, or do you react with it with some kind of joke or something like that to kind of help you?
It's all over the map. There are times I react to something and the first instinct is to get upset or angry, but usually I temper it with humor a little bit, and I can get myself off the ledge pretty quickly these days. And then, but everything becomes material and becomes a lesson. I mean, the post you're talking about, literally, I was out for my morning walk since joining Apex. I've
Hmm.
been out walking every day between 2 and 4 miles, and I happened to turn up a street I'd never been on before. And at the end of somebody's driveway, there were two gigantic coffee stains. They had put them on the back of their car and backed out of the driveway, and they both fell off. And there were two stain puddles in the street. And I'm thinking that person must have been furious.
Oh man. Yeah.
And it said, well, how would I react and respond to that? Because I've actually done it. I did it with a fruit smoothie, which was not pleasant.
Ooh.
But it made me remember, like, was I really mad? No, you know what I did? I pulled back in the driveway and I went and made another one. And then at the end of the night, I hosed off the street. That's all. Didn't let it ruin my entire day.
Yeah.
And I mean, literally right before we got in this conversation, my best friend of 37 years texted me and said, brother, I started off with a horrible day today. Then I read your post about the coffee. He goes, I stopped. I took a breath. I thought of something funny we would say about it. He goes, now I'm back on track. Thank you, brother. Love you. And, you know, uh, I just saw two coffee stains in the street and a lesson and some humor came out of it. So
Yeah.
that's how I try to get through every day. I see the humor, I find the good, and I just do my best to survive it all without getting taken off my track.
Like I still, whenever something happens, whatever it is, I always react, not always, but a lot of times I react to it like in a like anger, like I kind of get pissed, but a lot of times I catch myself, like not with humor or anything like that, but I just catch myself and I'm like, all right, well, like this is your fault, right? Because you chose to do this or whatever, which caused that accident to happen. If I dropped my coffee, oh, well, it's because I was looking at my phone or some shit like that.
Yep.
So like I ultimately like blame myself for it to happen because it's true. Um, and then I just like I don't know, like I just like chill out. I'm just like, all right, just relax. Like it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like
It's almost like
there's
we get that little
just
pressure release valve that we can, our head is all, and we can just go,
yeah.
okay, all right, Yep.
Yeah, if somebody cuts me off on the highway, I'm just like, but bad at cutting off. I'm
Yeah.
just like, oh fuck, dude, like what the hell? But then I'm just like, well, shit, like you chose to drive on this highway when you could have probably taken the other,
Yeah.
the other way. So,
Oh
it's
yeah. Oh, believe
whatever.
me, somebody that we have an intersection here. We live in a pretty small town. We have an intersection that has 3 stop signs. And the direction I was coming from didn't have a stop sign. And I was on the phone with my sister and my earbuds. And I went to turn, and the person on the other side hit the gas and jumped right in front of me. And believe me, my response was not humorous at first.
Yeah.
I'm glad he didn't hit me, but believe me, my sister she goes, if you had a gun, I think you would have shot the guy. She goes, all I heard was F bombs coming out of your mouth. We react and respond, but then we have the opportunity to escalate or de-escalate
Yeah.
quicker. I mean, and some people let one little thing
True.
ruin their entire day, and then they go out spreading the poison all day long. Well, that
Oh
doesn't do
man.
anybody any good. That's not going to be good for your business, Irvin. If you start off in a bad mood and you're jumping on every client or subcontractor or team member all day, it's not good long
Yeah.
term.
Yeah, dude. Like everybody or most of the people, like that's what they do is just you're saying, just spread the poison.
Yeah.
And like us that are more like self-aware, I mean, I don't know where I heard it, but it says like you can react, like the natural way to do it, like with anger and stuff for about 5 seconds, but then you catch yourself, you're like, all right, well, at least it didn't hit me. Like you're saying, at least it didn't hit me.
Yeah.
You know, shit already passed. I mean, I can't do anything about it
Yeah.
besides, just get over it.
Oh
So
yeah. And I got funny about 30 seconds later because my sister said, what happened? I said, well, some a-hole jumped in front of me. I said, damn it, I came within 5 seconds of getting a brand new car.
mm,
Because I was going fast enough that it probably would have totaled mine. And my car's 10 years old anyway. So I'm like, I'm out there playing new car roulette. I'm like, just don't let me be at fault. If someone hits me,
yeah.
I might hug them. When they go, it's total, we'll go,
Yeah.
really? Cool. You got insurance? All right.
Yeah, I got a new
Let's go
car.
shopping.
Yeah,
But just, you find the best in the moment, whatever emotionally gets you back in the game and at your best. And it doesn't mean I wake up every day. Some people say every day above ground's a great day. No, it's not. That is a steaming pile of crap. Every day we wake up on the right side of the grass, we have an opportunity to make it a really good day for ourselves and anybody who crosses our path. We have that opportunity. And I choose to seize it every day by being a positive person, but not being a fake guru riding a unicorn, farting rainbows and glitter across the sky type of person. I'm a realist, but I do the best with what I have every day. And whatever shows up in front of me, I do my best to leave at least one situation a day better than I found it. And humor is usually a big part of that. And visualizing and all the things that I teach are a big part of that.
so like how you were saying, like is that kind of like how I saw one of your Instagram posts. I think it was like a while back. I don't know exactly when, but it says you posted when people say that when you wake up it's a win or something like that.
Oh, yeah. Some people say, if you woke up today, you
You won. Yeah.
win. Well, you're on the list of
Yeah. Like
winners because not everybody does every day.
yeah.
But some people just say, I woke up today. That means it's going to be a great day. And they don't put intentional effort into making things really great. They just think, well, I got a participation award because I'm breathing, and that's good enough. I just encourage people to reach a little higher and be the best version of themselves all day. And don't just say, well, I woke up, so I win. Okay, great. And then just kind of cruise, walk through the day with their head down and just say, well, I'm already a winner. That's good enough. Oh man, make the best version of yourself every day. Plant seeds for tomorrow, because if you show up again tomorrow, it might be a better world out there waiting for you if you put the right effort into today.
Yeah. Like I don't necessarily wake up as like, oh, well, fuck, I won already. But I wake up as like it's my first win.
Yeah.
So
Oh, nice.
yeah.
Oh, I like that. That's a good one.
Yeah, because like I mean, I see like other people too that I follow, posted on um, post that on social media. So that's where I got it from, and I'm just like, well, yeah, like I mean, it is true. Like you wake up, especially at the time that you set your alarm clock, without hitting the snooze button, you wake up,
Yeah.
you make the bed, and it's like, okay, these are my like first few wins, and like I get momentum by just doing like those three things. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh hell yeah, man! Like keep working. But
Yeah.
that's the way that I see it. Is like it's your first win, but
Yeah.
it's not like the last win or whatever.
Yeah. It's almost like you're flipping a switch or hitting a little, like a clicker. It's
Mm.
like, okay, you woke up on time, or if you wake up like right before your alarm, that's a win because like your brain is already saying, hey, let's go rock this day.
Oh yeah,
And then, my wife and I, we make our bed. Most days she makes it because I get up first and I go for my walk. And by the time I get back, she's made it. It's not like I'm hiding around the corner waiting to see if she made it. I mean, I help. And then I'll go to my office, and underneath the back of my laptop, so it's at an angle, is a blank journal. It's my gratitude journal. So the first thing before I even do any office work is I write down my three favorite moments from the previous day. And it's not broad brush, it's specific stuff. Because if I'm waking up and I'm like, well, I don't know, I'm just kind of feeling off. I think, well, what happened yesterday? Because tomorrow I already know. Number one, I was on Irvin's radio show. That's a good one. And then whatever else happens today. And the weirder, the better. So if I can infuse humor into it, it's even better.
yeah,
So I start off and I go, well, hey, three awesome things happened yesterday. Hell, I can do three more today. No problem.
yeah,
I'll just have good conversations. I'll bring good energy, and something will happen today that I want to write about tomorrow. And even in 2020, the pandemic year, when both of my event based businesses took a wrecking ball for most
damn,
of the year,
yeah,
I wrote down over 1,000 gratitudes. So I wrote down over 1,000 good moments in what so many people just broad brushed and wrote off as a bad year. I had a heck of a year. I had a lot of good stuff happening to me
yeah,
because I wrote it down and I noticed it, and I intentionally said, I really want to remember this. And I'm twice your age. Your brain gets full. So you really want to intentionally remember the good stuff.
yeah.
So that's how I start every day. So there's my couple of wins. And then today, 7,000 steps before breakfast. Went out for a walk, and it just felt
Wow.
great. That was a win. Nobody hit me. I wave to every car that goes by without looking at them. I just put my arm up. It's good morning. Thanks for not running me over. Have a nice day. And some
Yeah,
of them wave, some of them honk. I don't even know these people, and they're honking, waving. I'm like, rock on, man. We just both left this whoosh of a moment better
yeah,
from a wave, a simple wave and a smile.
yeah, dude. That makes a ton of difference. Even just like how are you how are you doing? Like if you're walking past somebody,
Yeah.
like it just makes you feel a lot better.
Yeah. And
And
if they're wearing a cool hat or something, you just go, that is the coolest hat I've seen all day.
yeah,
And they smile and they go, oh, thank you. And then they're smiling. I'm like, have a great day. And I just walk off.
yeah, and also with that gratitude, man. Like since joining Apex too, is doing that gratitude in the morning,
Yes.
doing the G code and doing the I do 5 minutes of gratitude. I just sit down in the chair that I'm in, and
Yeah.
I just talk. Like just talk to God and put shit out there in the universe. Everything
Yeah.
I'm grateful for at least 5 minutes, and I feel a lot better, man, for
Yeah.
sure.
because you're lining things up. You're putting your emotions in check, your brain's in check, your heart's in a great place. You're connected to your higher power, all in that moment. It's perfect. And then you go out and you act upon that. Like that's you launch out of that chair the best version of yourself every day. And I think too many people get up and they read the newspaper, or they read the news online, or worse, they get on social media and watch everybody fighting, or they watch the news on TV, and then they drive to work listening to like political talk radio, which is just,
Yeah.
it's like this perfect storm of toxicity. If a septic tank had a soundtrack, that's what it would be like. And they put that in their head. And what do? They go out there in the world operating from that instead of where you and I come from. And a lot of times it stains their day. They're walking around all day long like they stepped in dog crap, because there's just stench of negativity following them. And so they notice all the bad stuff, but they also put out bad energy as well.
Yeah. Yeah, man, for sure. So, you brought this up a little while ago, was with 2020, where both of your event businesses took a wrecking. Like, how was that, man? How did you pivot in those times with everything closing down?
The DJ business, I'm actually almost 28 years in, so I'm actually retiring that this year. I just made a decision last year. I said, look, I've put almost 3 decades worth of work into this.
Mhm.
And if a virus can come along and wipe it out, that's probably not a business model that I want to pursue anymore. So I talked to my agent. I said, look, I've got a dozen events left. I'll do those, but after that, I'm going to kind of go into retirement for a bit. But on the speaking side, because I couldn't hop on a plane and fly out somewhere and be in a room with 1,000 people, I started to do a lot on Zoom. I started to do a lot of radio appearances on people's shows like we're doing right now,
Yeah.
and just still getting the word out there, and very active on social media with the positivity. Do a lot of videos, doing Facebook Lives, joining Apex, because I've been an observer for a year and a half. And I finally said, look, this is a community that I want to be a part of, because these are people who are out there hard charging. Doesn't matter the industry. It's the mindset. I wanted to be around more.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
it was a very challenging year. And also in my personal life, I had some major losses over the past couple of years. 3 months ago, one of my business partners, my mentor, and my digital guy, he passed away. Last year,
Wow.
we lost our family's dog, who wrote his own book and was part of my speaking career. And the year prior to that, I lost my dad. So it's kind of been this cloud overhanging, even though I try not to let it impact me. But it's been a challenging couple of years. So now to be plugged into this community of people is pretty awesome. And because of the pandemic, the online version of Vision Board Mastery, it wasn't available prior to that. Because all of a sudden I couldn't go out and speak and teach it, we decided, let's put it online and make it a program people can do at their own pace and all of that. And it turned out to be the greatest decision ever,
Yeah.
because people are now loving it. They say, oh, good, because we couldn't get everyone in a room for 2 hours, Steve. Now they can do it at their own pace. And then we do the weekly or monthly coaching, and oh, we love this. Thank you so much for creating it. I'm like, you're welcome. Thank you, pandemic. You just, you're panning for gold no matter what's going on. You just keep finding the nuggets. And that turned out to be the greatest gift of last year. If I can't be there, boy, we got a way now for you to be a part of this. And I love it. It's the best thing that could have come out of last year.
Dude, hell yeah, man. Like, I'm happy for you, man. And like everything that like how you're saying, like everything that came out good, that like you decided to pivot to improve your business, and now it's better than prior to the pandemic. That's something that a lot of people don't, like, they don't think about. They just think like, oh well, everything's closing down, I guess I can't do anything. I can't
Yeah.
speak, I can't DJ, so they just kind of shut down. And like that's what separates, like at times like that, that's what separates like the people who are actually meant for it and the people who are not.
Yeah.
Right. So like that's what I know one of my mentors said this before, where it's like you kind of figured out who's like the real entrepreneur besides like the fake one,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, everyone's an entrepreneur when the economy's great and when things
Yeah.
are going well. Oh, everybody. It's kind of like the real estate industry when we had the crashes. There may be another one coming soon because everything is so crazy priced right now.
Yeah.
But I remember back around 2006, 2007, people were like, "Oh, Steve, real estate is so great. We're making all kinds of money." Well, 2008 happened and it all fell apart. And so many people were just screaming, they did this, they did this, they did this. And they said, well, there's nothing out there happening. So I'm going to quit real estate. And a whole bunch of people left. But the ones who stayed re-earned the trust of their clients. And as things slowly came back, see those people that stayed in the trenches and knew why they wanted to be in real estate and help people and all of that, they stayed and then they got the benefits of it. So the loose fringe people who were just there because it's
The
quick
money.
money, it's easy money,
Yeah.
it's whatever. The people who have it stamped in their DNA, they stayed. And they're still among my best clients. I've done a lot with real estate people with the visualization work. And
Yeah.
I love them. I love their passion. Gosh, they get put through the ringer just to get a deal to close. And I'm thinking, wow, that's pretty cool. You're dedicated. I really respect that.
Yeah, man. Separates the real from the fake.
Yep. Yep. Oh yeah. And there's fake in every industry. There's fake in my industry. There
Yeah.
are speakers where I say, really, you just get people to jump up and down and play loud music and all have this experience and then buy your crap and then they get home the next day and they're back to themselves and you're gone to the next town. And I want long-term relationships with the people that I work with. I'm not a set it and forget it guy. I don't just say buy my program and you'll be successful. I love being in the trenches with people. And I've laughed, I've cried, I've jumped up and down, I've hugged my coaching clients. And there are days I'm here, I hear their littlest tiny victory and how it gets them to believe in themselves. Man, I'm here jumping up and down on camera with them, celebrating. And that's just the way I was taught how, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, going to be in business, you got to have a heart as big as your drive. And that's just the way I was taught. Some people it's not that way, but that's how I operate.
Yeah, man. I love that. So, like, what are your plans moving forward from now?
I would love, and this is a big project for this year, to get my program licensed inside of some really big companies, companies that believe in the personal development as well as the professional skills. There are a lot of companies out there, and it's just churn and burn. It's earn the money, and that's great. That's fine. It's just keep clicking that thing, and money it prints money. But there's other people who are in companies who understand like the better the person they can have sitting in their seats every day, connected to why they're there, not just trading time for a paycheck, will stay longer and will be more effective. And they can have better communication and build relationships and build a whole family, not just a team or not just a crew. And in longer term, everyone under that roof does better. Those are the companies that I really want to get into this year. And I've identified some, and we're already doing some little talks and test runs with team members, and they're really enjoying the results,
Yeah.
as am I.
Yeah, dude. Those are the good companies out there, man.
Yeah.
The ones that are different from everybody else.
Yeah.
Cool, man. So, before I know we're running out of time here, but just let everybody know where they can find you and everything you're doing.
Sure. Nice and easy. All of my products and programs and information are at motivationalfirewood.com. And the products page is there as well. You can see a couple of my books and the Vision Board Mastery. There's even a free webinar on the main page for somebody that goes, what the heck is visualization? It's a 30-minute webinar that explains all the basics. And I've had people look at that and
Sweet.
say, oh my gosh, I had no idea. I was just writing letters to Santa Claus. I'm like, well, now you know how much impact you can really have. So yeah, it's all there at motivationalfirewood.com.
Yeah, they need to check that out because a lot of people just hear visualization and they think it's some like fairy tale shit.
Oh
But it's
yeah, I get
yeah,
it all the
so
time.
So the fact that you have like a webinar on there that explains everything, what
Yeah.
it is, like that's legit. So they definitely
Yeah.
need to check that out.
Yeah. And there's even, if you go to motivationalfirewood.com/the letter VI5, there's I think it's an 8-minute video that your listeners can access for free if they go to that page. That explains 5 basic steps of visualization. I created that for somebody who says, I don't have time to watch a 30-minute webinar. I said, all right, I have this 8.5
Yeah.
minute thing. And it's really cool. Some people, they listen to it in the morning or they watch it on their laptops in between snooze buttons. And that's why it's only 8 minutes, because the snooze button's
Yeah.
9. I go, brother, you could watch this in between snooze buttons and you'll be better than you were. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's there too at motivationalfirewood.com/VI5.
Okay. Sweet. Good. I'm gonna check that out myself.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. So last question that I have, it's a canned question I ask everybody. What do you consider your breakthrough moment and why?
My breakthrough moment, and I'll tell it as quickly as I can. Lowest point in my life, August 2003. I'd blown up my radio career. My first marriage ended in divorce. I was near bankrupt and had to move back in with family. I'm at just rock bottom. I was hitting golf balls at a driving range in a thunderstorm under power lines, barefoot in the wet grass, and dared the
Wow.
lightning to hit me.
Shit.
And a couple days later, I was working with a new coach and he goes, so how was your week? I go, put down your pen and listen to this. And I told the story of that, but I made it really funny. And he said, oh my gosh, have you ever thought of being a motivational speaker or a stand-up comedian? And I just went, yeah, but I have no idea how to pursue either one. He says, I think you'd really love doing both. I think you'd be really good at it. And he had a
Wow.
brochure on his desk for a local community college that had an introductory stand-up comedy class that started 2 weeks later. And I was there. And then Toastmasters. And I was there. And I became stand-up comedian and motivational speaker 17 years ago, or almost 18 years ago now. And that was the moment. Golf balls in a thunderstorm. And somebody just asked me a question that made me, pivot, bounce it off the wall a different way, however you want to describe it. I found my calling in it. And the funniest part is it's still a continuation of the dream that little kid had when he wanted to be a radio DJ and be up in front of people entertaining, be around music, and get people to really enjoy hearing his voice. So 43 years after that 10-year-old kid had that dream, here we are.
That's awesome, bro. That's crazy. So I appreciate you sharing that.
Thank you.
Cool, man. So yeah, but Steve, thanks for coming on the show, man, and dropping all these nuggets for the listeners.
Thank you so much. And like I said at the beginning of this, I loved this conversation and I was looking forward to it. So I hope your listeners benefited from it. I most certainly did. And thank you
I
so
did,
much
man.
for inviting me to be here.
For sure, man. You have a good day.
You too. Thanks so much.